When you have over 2,000 pupils in school, how do you ensure democracy prevails? Lymm High School in Cheshire adopted a German model for its school council to ensure every pupil had a say. Here at Lymm, it's the start of a new school year, and over the next few weeks, teacher Nicole Harris will embark on another year of setting up and running the whole school council. There are 2,000 pupils in the school from key stages 3, 4 and 5, all of whom are placed into one of 5 halls. Each hall is led by their own hall management team, which comprises a member of each year group and each key stage. Each hall has a member of staff, their head of hall, to lead and guide them. Representatives from these hall management teams make up the whole school council. Students in our school are very vocal. If you have a debate, they have an opinion. And they like that opinion to be heard. So where better than to have your opinion aired in a hall management team or a whole school council. Just as every child in the school is a member of a hall, every member of staff is a member of a hall, and all the tutor teams and the attached staff and even the support staff all have a hall. It's quite a complex system, but the reasons for doing it are really quite simple. One, to get as many students as possible to be able to have management and leadership experience, because that's really important. And the other is so that we get a really good representation of the 2,000 students that attend our school. It's very easy to have a small select group that do wonderful work, but it's not what the students want, and that's what we want. We want the students to actually achieve something in school. Today's recruitment day for this year's hall management teams and school council, as well as introducing new members of the school community to the council concept. Now that you know people a bit better, I'm going to ask you to put your hand up to nominate somebody that you think would be a good rep. And you've got to give me a reason why you think that person is a good rep. And then just to check that it's not your best mate, I need somebody to second it, to say, yes, I agree with that. As far as being elected to hall management teams, each head of hall has got a different way of doing it. And basically, I'm relying on their expertise in this field. So some of them actually invite students to stand and then the class will vote. At other times, they will ask the class to nominate people, and if those people are agreeable, they will go forward. Alternatively, if you're in a situation where there's not a lot of interest in that particular form group, then it will be up to volunteers to come forward. It's not an ideal situation. Obviously, we would like to have a democracy. We would like to have every member actually voted in, but it doesn't work in a school this size. Who would like to be the first person to nominate? Okay.
Hannah, Banana.
Okay, why?
Because she's organised, she can take notes, she's punctual, and she's all the stuff on the board.
Hands up if you think that communication is a major issue for your hall council or your management team not succeeding at times. Keep your hands up, or add to that if you think attendance is a problem, people not turning up. Who finds feeding back to your forms and collecting information from them a major pain? That's a big one. That's a big one. Possible solutions for you. This is supposed to be a training session. I must admit that hall council training and whole school council training has been a little bit lapse of late, simply because we put a large investment in 1999-2000 where we took students out and we actually enrolled them on courses, but unfortunately we've had a reality check since then and we can't spare staff to go out with the students themselves. So a lot of our training's been done in-house. We've now got a big gap where the students who were in year 7 and year 8 when the training started are now in year 13. So we need to establish another really good cohort of well-trained students. But I will not be telling them how to do it. It's their hall management team and they have subtle ways of doing it themselves. Ultimately, what you want to do will be talked about either in hall meetings, staff hall meetings, or in headship team. So sometimes it is a really good idea to get one of the assistant heads, the deputy head, or the head on your side so they can actually help you. The council meets approximately every month, every 6 weeks, so they are quite infrequent, but we find that having them at those particular periods within the term, it means that the hall management teams can actually achieve something. So if you set them a target, they can achieve it, and then it can be reviewed at the next council meeting. My philosophy behind organisation is KISS, keep it simple, stupid, because if you try and overcomplicate things, if you try and do too much paperwork, both yourself and the students are just going to be run ragged. So I do try and keep it to an absolute minimum. They let me know what they want on the agenda in advance. I type it up. I go to the whole school council meeting with the agendas already typed up, ready to distribute them. We discuss agenda items, and then I will write the minutes up from notes that the students have made, because if I'm chairing the meetings, I can't actually have the time to write the minutes as we're going along, so the students take it in turns to do that for me.
Next we'll go to hall issues for the coming year. You should have discussed this within your hall councils and kind of come up with a list of things that we want to do this year. So, Dunham?
I think we discussed the trip to the Trafford Centre again, and maybe pairing with Arlie for that. And
We've got your London trip as well.
yeah, the trip to London, and also something else. Oh yeah, recycling as well. I think we're going to focus on that this year.
Tatton? Anyone from Tatton? Yep.
Uniform. The girls seem to complain about the PE shorts, which I can't really comment on personally, but they say they're disgusting.
Can the ladies elaborate on what the problem is, please? What is the problem with the PE shorts?
I don't know about the PE shorts, but I know a couple of Year 7s at our meeting were saying that they didn't like the girls' PE skirts.
Our students don't necessarily have specific roles within the whole school council. We did try that, but then it actually ties people down to only being able to do one thing. And yes, you can actually get students playing to their strengths, but most students want to try everything, so we try and allow that to happen. We have a minimum number, but we have no maximum number for how many students are on the whole school council. So long as each of the 5 halls is represented and there's at least one person from each key stage, then I am happy. However, what I tend to do is try and encourage 2 or 3 from each key stage group to come along, just so that we've got a representative sample, so that if somebody can't come or they're absent, we can actually continue the work and the communication's effective.
Walton? Have we got any feedback?
The price of the healthy food, it's like with those the cans and that new drinks machine, they're costing 10p more than they did last year. Now we know that they're healthy, but things like appetizer, which were 50p last year, are still there now and now 60p. And it's just about lowering the price. People will pay for healthy food, but not so the prices are ridiculous.
As far as the cans are concerned, yes, by all means tackle that. Don't forget though that they did try to put them up to 80p at the beginning of this year, and we got them to reduce it down to 60p. I certainly think that it's worth maybe doing a whole school complaint about that. So yes, I certainly think that we maybe need to invite the kitchen staff down here and have a discussion about that.
We have staff who appear as special guests to discuss certain issues. For example, the head of the dining room comes along to discuss when she has issues, to discuss with the students, i.e. she's found a new supplier, or she's trying to start and use fair trade products or organic products, and she just wants to ask the children's opinion. Basically, we try to invite the member of staff with responsibility for the area where the students have an issue, and we try and make it as friendly as possible, but also put them on a spot a bit and try and get something done.
We are looking at the water fountain, and we do need to know about fundraising. Because I don't know if you're aware, but we've discussed for a while having a water fountain, but I do not think that the school will fund another water fountain. So what I'd like you to do is to take this back to your hall management teams, please, and I would like each hall to look at coming up with an individual fundraising plan to pay for some water fountains for the rest of you, please.
Achievements for whole school councils are really, really important, and actually landmarking those achievements so that students coming into the school know what the whole school council has achieved is a massive issue, because otherwise they're just not interested in it and they just think it's a waste of time. So achievements such as being part of the interview process when new staff are appointed, going to governors' meetings, changing the food in the dining room so that we had a pasta bar. Changing the healthy eating options, reviewing school policies, and for the governors to know that the whole school council has reviewed that policy and we have amended that policy. That has actually been quite a big kudos for us. We have a shelter that has taken forever to build. It was a massive project, the money had to be raised, and it was really just to prevent the students from getting wet when they were waiting in the dinner queue. We had major complications in that, and the whole school council just really lost heart, and getting over that and actually getting the shelter built was a really, really major thing. One of our biggest achievements, and it's probably an unpleasant topic to talk about, is actually improving the toilets in the school, because most schools do have issues with their toilets. We have had them redecorated, and in some cases we have had them rebuilt. So forcing the issue on that and making them a priority has been a major achievement for us.
Emily, did you get the message I put in your register?
No.
Did your form tutor not give you the message?
No.
Have you read your emails?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got a whole school council meeting on Friday. Do you think you can come lunchtime? Yeah. Okay. I'll see you then.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
As a wider problem, communication is a massive, massive issue. However, now we have an intranet, what I do is I contact students directly, and they know to look now on the internet, they know to look up at their emails. One of our big projects this year is actually to get that working really, really well, and to have maybe a message board for students and for the whole school council to use. And I think once we get that up, I think that'll be quite an effective tool to combat the issues of communication. Alternatively, if we've got a specific focus, for example healthy schools, I will put up a display, and it's quite interesting how many students actually stop and they say, oh yeah, that's what they were talking about in that meeting, so that way you know that the message is going home. My advice to anybody who is either thinking of setting up a whole school council or who is running one at the moment is to be flexible, is to try things out, and if they don't work then bin them quickly and move on. I try as much as possible to respond to the students. I think most of my students know that they can give me constructive criticism and I will act on it, and I do ask them for regular feedback. I don't think there's anything wrong in just every now and then checking that things are working and then just tinkering with it. So be flexible, be open, and openly ask for criticism.